March 15, 1962, 11:38 p.m. South Carolina Mental Institution. Dr. Winston was examining patient 3473, Hefty Harriet, a 300-pound woman being treated for paranoia. She was locked in a small room wearing a straitjacket. Dr. Winston stared at her through the door's peephole with an unbreakable fear on his face. Never in 13 years of his job has he ever had such fear of a patient. Such a big woman, he said under his breath. Where did I find a straitjacket for her, he whispered again. Dr. Winston unlocked the heavy-duty door and walked in. April 2, 1957, 9:26 p.m. The Sleazy Swallow. Harriet Robinson was as average a stripper as you can get. She was gorgeous and thin like Marilyn Monroe. Much too pretty to be working in a typical strip club. She didn't enjoy being there. Whatever pays the bill, she would calmly say. She needed the money. Already living in a run-down motel with roaches the size of cats and mold that's been around since the place opened. It was better than living on the side of the road. On this particular day, Harriet spotted a man she had never seen before, which was odd since she knew everyone who usually came in on Saturday nights. This new fella was going by the name Johnny Peterson. Johnny was a smooth talker who seemed to know how to pull women. Harriet seized this opportunity to make some money off this guy. Harriet gave Johnny a lap dance, but Johnny wanted a little more than that. It didn't take Johnny long to get Harriet in bed with him, which was unusual for Harriet. She was never really into having sex with a client, not even for money. Seemed like no woman could resist Johnny's charm. June 27, 1957, 2:24 p.m. St. John's Church. After that night of passion in April, Harriet and Johnny began dating. They finally tied a knot months later. The two of them had rings with each other's names engraved on them, along with the phrase "together forever." For the first time in Harriet's life, she was happy. She was married to a successful businessman no longer having to strip. She was living in a 2-story house and not some shitty motel room. She was living the high life. July 7, 1961, 9:46 p.m. Peterson residence. While searching under the couch for a falling wedding ring, she found a used condom. She thought it was odd since she and Johnny were trying to have a child. She became furious and confronted Johnny about the condom. Johnny told her it fell out of his cousin's pocket during the football game, but Harriet didn't buy it. She couldn't believe Johnny's cheating. Harriet's happiness came crashing to pieces. August 16, 1961, 12:15 p.m. Peterson residence. Harriet stayed with Johnny, but became really depressed. She turned to food for comfort and became morbidly obese. Johnny didn't care about her obesity. He was laughing at her. While Harriet was eating her life away, Johnny was sleeping with his secretary, Veronica Stacers. He would sometimes sneak his mistress in the house while Harriet was sleeping on the couch. Johnny could have divorced Harriet, but he enjoyed the thrill of cheating. August 16, 1961, 10:43 p.m. Pearson residence. Harriet was in the living room watching the episode of I Love Lucy. Her eyes were so glued to the TV, she didn't notice Johnny taking the secretary to her bedroom. Johnny figured Harriet would not hear him and the secretary's moans of passion over the loud TV. During the commercials, Harriet decided to go to the kitchen. She opened the fridge and pulled out a sandwich. Before biting into the sandwich, she heard moaning coming from the bedroom. She walked into the room and turned on the lights. She screamed in horror as she saw Johnny on top of his secretary in the bed. September 1st, 1961, 3:45 p.m. Police station. Johnny and his secretary didn't show up at all the past 2 weeks. Johnny's boss contacted the police, but they told him to relax. A married man running off with his secretary was nothing new to the town. But little did the cops know that they weren't the only ones who were going to disappear that year. December 25, 1961, 10:20 p.m. 20 beautiful women in the same town mysteriously vanished. Harriet's wedding ring was found. A wedding ring that had Johnny Peterson engraved on the top, which led police to the Peterson residence. The house had a rotting flesh smell protruding from it. They started knocking on the door, but there was no answer. Finally, they kicked the door down. To their surprise, they saw blood on the walls and bones on the floor. The officers drew their guns and immediately searched the room for bodies. Minutes later, they heard munching noises. The sound was coming from the kitchen. They decided to investigate. Harriet was at the table eating something on a plate. At first glance, it appeared she was eating a ham, but then they looked closely. Hanging out of her mouth was a piece of human flesh. A smirk appeared on her face after swallowing. "Hello, officers. Would you like to join me for dinner?" she asked. March 12, 1963. Hefty Harriet escaped a mental institution, leaving behind a path of dead staff and a half-eaten Dr. Winston. Police are currently looking for her, but are having no luck finding her. If you have any information on Hefty Harriet, please notify the police. The end.